Hello bookworms! Today I'm here to do the My Book Adaptation Wishlist tag. This is a new tag that was created by Monica of She Might Be Monica. I'll leave a link down below to her video, and she also tagged me to do this, and I really enjoyed her video and I thought this was a really good idea, so I immediately set out to film my own. It's really fun because it has categories instead of like specific questions for the tag. So basically I'm just going to be talking about all of the different things that I would love to see adapted into something else. So the first category is movie, and I've been saying this like forever, but I really want a night circus movie because I think that it would just be like one of the most beautiful things to experience on screen. The story is so whimsical and so gorgeous, and it's so like, it just draws you in, and this is like one of the best books ever in my opinion. Oh my gosh, it's just so magical. It's so wonderful. And I think that like seeing it on screen would just like blow my mind, and plenty of other readers' minds too. You can like tell from the cover, but the book has a very like black, white, and red like color scheme because it follows this traveling circus that nobody knows when they're coming or going. They just appear kind of without notice. And it's like this magical experience, and there's a cult following for it, and the people that follow it around the world and like try to predict where it's going to be, they all wear black, white, and red as like a symbol showing how much they are like obsessed with the circus. And it just has such like amazing intertwining stories. All the side characters are really good. The two main characters are phenomenal, and it's a beautiful love story. And it's just like, in addition to that, it's also kind of a tale of like good and evil and trying to figure out like what's the best way to teach magic. And it's just gorgeous. Like, it's really gorgeous. I've been talking about this for too long, sorry. The next category is TV show, and for this I'm going to be choosing a recent favorite of mine. I recently read the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare, and I just think that this would be an amazing television show, and one that has like a set beginning and ending and doesn't drag on for seasons and seasons past when we need to like see the story. So I think like a limited series would probably be best for this. Just, you know, 3 seasons. You could even push it into 4 seasons because some of the books are kind of big, but I think that it would be really nice and also look really beautiful on screen because it takes place in Victorian London. So it would just be like, I think like the costumes and everything would be really beautiful. And these characters are wonderful. I love Will Herondale so much after things happen. So I don't want to spoil anything, but I honestly, like I've said so many times on my channel, but I am not a huge fan of the Mortal Instruments series, but I really love this series. I think it's so beautifully written, and I think that it would just make a great television show, much better than the Shadowhunter show that is currently on Freeform. The next category is a really fun one because it's not one that you usually hear people like talking about, but it's cartoon. So what book would you want to see adapted into a cartoon? And I thought about this for a while, and then I realized like the most obvious answer, in my opinion, is Scott Pilgrim. I think that this would make a fantastic animated series. Like, it just completely lends itself to it. I think that it would be like just amazing. It would be so funny. I have like loved this series since it came out, and if you haven't read it, you really need to. There are so many geeky references in it. It's like, it's just one of the best series in my opinion, and it's very heavily influenced by like manga and video games and anime, and it's just so good. And I think that seeing it animated would be perfect. Like I did enjoy the live action movie, but they had to cram like 6 books worth of information into one movie, which is a little bit disappointing because this whole story is so good, and I feel like it's just meant to be told as an animated tale. And also like it's so colorful, like all the artwork and everything is so beautiful that it would just look amazing if it were to come to life on TV. If you haven't read this series, like you really need to. It's one of my favorites. The next category is a graphic novel or comic. For this one, I would really love to see The Raven Boys, or The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater adapted into a graphic novel or comics. Probably comics because obviously there are 4 books. I like love the fan art from this series, so I feel like seeing it as a graphic novel would be really engaging. And I think that this work is like very atmospheric. And there's so much that goes on in it, but a lot of it is like description and background information. I feel like those things could be conveyed really well through like the artwork of a comic. I just think that the series would like lend itself really well for that kind of adaptation. And also, I just want more Raven Boys in my life because it's over and that devastates me. This series is so good. The next category is a play. And for this one, I would choose the To All the Boys I've Loved Before and P.S. I Still Love You duology by Jenny Han. I think that this would be a really, really cute play. I could definitely see Lara Jean like coming to life on stage, and I think that all of like the backgrounds and stuff that they would create for this would just be like so appealing. I love Lara Jean's aesthetic. Like everything is so like white and pretty, and like just the little roses and the clothes that she wears. Like I think that they would just look beautiful to see on stage. And I think that they could do some really fun things with like the letters, and it just like it's dramatic and fun, and I really could just see this like coming to life. I would totally go to see this if this were made into a play. And then the final one is musical, and for this one I'm choosing a new book that I read recently and really enjoyed, and that is The Geek's Guide to Unrequited Love by Sarvanez Tosh. This book takes place at New York Comic Con, which I think would be such a fun musical. There are specific scenes that I can see like playing in my head with music, because there's a lot of drama that goes into it, and like the character, while he is like a real life person, well, not, I mean, he's fiction, but while he's like a contemporary character, he's obsessed with fandom and obsessed with certain things. So I can just see like some of his dream sequences happening with like music attached to them. And it also reads very much like a John Hughes love letter. So if you're familiar with any of John Hughes's 80s movies, you will totally understand why this would be like a perfect musical. I just would love to see this adapted, and I really want more people to read this because it is so good. Like it's so true to New York Comic Con. Like as someone who has been going for years, this is New York Comic Con in a book. It's great. And like, please buy it, please pick it up, and please agree with me that it should be made into a musical. Those are all of my wish list adaptations. Of course, there are more things that I would love to see adapted as well, but those are like my top things for those answers. I'm going to tag some people down below, and I will leave a link to all of their channels. Why don't you guys also let me know which books you want to see adapted down in the comment section. We can continue our conversation there. Let me know if you agree with the things that I picked, or if you think that you would rather see other things adapted. I'd love to hear it, because I love just picturing things that I can't even in my imagination see being adapted, like have other people explain how they want them adapted, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that would be so great. So that's all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon with a new one. Bye!